Welcome to Armenian Interests. Today we share with you an interview with Mr. Berge Abajian and Mr. Garbis Kazanjian, representatives of the Armenian Jewelers Association.
With us and next to me are two fine gentlemen, one of our own, Mr. Garbis Kazanjian, and the other guest, which is a good friend of both Mr. Kazanjian and myself, is Mr. Berge Abajian, president of Berge. Mr. Berge Abajian is the vice president of the International Armenian Jewelers Association, a very prestigious body indeed. And we also know that the president of the Armenian International Jewelers Association is Mr. Gaki Kevorkian. And as I am introducing Gaki Kevorkian, I am looking at a beautiful album, the first actually magazine of the Armenian Jewelers Association, which is given to us by its initials in tricolor, Garmir Gabuit Narunchakuin, the red, the blue, and the orange, symbolizing the Armenian flag. And it is a Herculean project that is being taken care of by very active members of the Jewelers Association in Moscow. Mr. Abajian just returned from his trip to the Middle East and also to Armenia and Moscow, and we will be talking to him and finding more about this exciting trip. I can assure you the information which we'll be hearing partially has been disseminated in Armenian newspapers and on TV in Armenia, but it is very fresh and new news for our community, and we'll be very proud to hear the latest developments. We'll be coming back with our interview very, very soon.
Well, Vartan, first of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of all our membership of over 30,000 of being a full support of our organization. This mission was taken with the Gaki Kevorkian. We first to Lebanon, to Beirut, and then to Armenia, and then we end up in Moscow. And the main reason for this visit is to set up our trade show, which is on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of September, which it's on the same time of the independence of Armenia, and also to promote our free trade zone idea with the president of Armenia, Serge Sarkisian. This was our main mission on this trip.
Berge, we were discussing, and I asked you for the highlights, and you mentioned the free trade zone, and that really is a very, very, very important subject to discuss. Could you give us an idea of what do you understand, or what should our listeners understand as a free trade zone, and how will this benefit Armenia and its economy?
Well, it's very, very intriguing. We had a formal visit by the president of Armenia, Serge Sarkisian, and it was supposed to be a 15-minute meeting. It's a formal with TVs and pictures was all over the TVs. And we ended up staying for an hour and a half. It was an unbelievable meeting, and we were talking about the free trade zone to set up in Armenia by the airport, and so this way we can create some jobs for the local Armenians. And it was taken very well. And then after the meeting, we met with his personal assistant, personal advisor for another hour, and then we met with his chief of staff for another hour. And our mission right now is to bring what's going to happen within 2 weeks. We're going to give a complete studies about the three free trade zone in the world: Dubai, Hong Kong, and the SEEP zone in India. They wanna study it, but this is it's going down very fast, and they are our president is very intrigued, and he wants to go forward with this because he sees the positive for his country, for Armenia itself, and for the first time I felt so good of bringing something back to the homeland.
Again, could you explain to us what is a free trade zone?
A free trade zone is it's a zone that you can bring in your product in, and you can manufacture it, and then you don't have to pay the duty of 30%. And the way it happened, they're going to put a little duty only for Armenia itself, about around 5%, and then you can bring diamonds in. You can do it's a free thing that it's not going to be controlled by anybody in the Armenian government.
And this does not apply only only to jewelers. This applies to other industries?
To everybody across the board, jewelers and any other trades that they're being done there right now. So it's across the board, and the most beautiful part about it is going to create a lot of jobs for Armenians, youth that you can see them there and they're looking for jobs. This is going to be huge for Armenia, and our president Sarkisian, he sees the benefit of this, and he elaborated on this for an hour.
Obviously, jobs is very, very important. We have been discussing Armenian independence. We're about to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Armenian independence, and many of us have very serious questions about the situation in Armenia. It seems to be everything but independent, and we would like to really see a true, strong Armenian independence, especially economically. These days, we're losing thousands of Armenians to other countries, to Russia and to Americas and other parts, and jobs are a very critical issue. Tell me, when you met Serge Sarkisian, very few of us have actually spent 15 minutes or an hour and a half. Tell me about the man. What kind of a person is he?
He intrigued me a lot. I mean, he came into the room very subtle, very steady, and he was listening to all our what we wanted to do for Armenia, and suddenly he opened up, and he is a very intelligent person, and he understood that it seems like he understands the business side of it, which is very important for us and important for his country and for our country. I mean, us being on the diaspora, I mean, we gotta believe. It's my first time in Armenia, and I saw things that I could not believe. So he is a very, very, very shrewd person and intelligent. That's to me.
We keep hearing about the very powerful Armenian diaspora in Russia. Many times diaspora for us is anything west of Turkey. Mm-hmm. But obviously there is a very strong diaspora in Russia. Could you kind of capsule your impressions of what is happening in Russia and what is it we do not know about the Armenians in Russia?
Well, what's happening right now, there's over 2 million Armenians in Russia. And they have migrated from Armenia for one reason only, for jobs. Okay, like my partner, Gagi Kevorkian, which is also my partner for Berge, and he's our president, he employs over 400 Armenian jewelers. So there's a lot of Armenians in Russia that they are working just to make money and send back to their homeland to support their families. They're living in small apartments and they're making a living and sending money back to Armenia. And the funny part is that one thing we elaborated to the president, I said, Mr. President, we were up till 3 o'clock last night walking the streets. There was a lot of young people on the streets. And next day there was like, it's a work day. What's going on here? And we need to create jobs for these kids because then they're hanging out on the streets doing nothing. So he got it. I mean, he got it. He got it pretty well. And I was very impressed with that,
to get an idea such as this pushed forward, you need connection, you need kind of a power base, you need network, and obviously you need money and ideas. Where is most of the work coming from? Is it what part of the diaspora? Is it from Moscow? Is it from the United States? Who is doing the work? There's a lot of work involved in setting up these free trade zones and coming up with the business programs and business plans. Who is doing a lot of work?
Well, right now AJA has an official office in Moscow, and we have over 18 people working in the office. And now I just got a phone call this morning. The Commerce Minister of Armenia would be visiting our office in Moscow tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we are creating all these connections through Moscow. I mean, this beautiful magazine that you have in your hand, it's created out of Moscow. We have the infrastructure of creating all these things. I mean, my partner again, our president Gagi Kevorkian, he employs 1,100 people. So he has a big infrastructure that he put the Armenian Jeweler Association under his umbrella with his own infrastructure. He creates 6 magazines a year for monthly. He has 6 magazines. So it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a big budget, and we have put a big budget behind this because our vision in the future is to really push forward with the Armenian jewelers, because we are the backbone of this whole industry. You go to Van Cleef, you go to Cartier, it's all the big designers. Today, Harry Winston, the big designers are all the craftsmen are Armenians. It's a shame. I mean, they gotta get out and produce for themselves and give back to the homeland.
Tell me about the trade show. This is the first one that will be taking place coinciding with the 20th anniversary of Armenian independence. Tell me what form or shape will that take?
Well, right now, this trade show is going to be in the Marriott Hotel. It's going to, right now we have a confirmation of 25 to 30 manufacturers from 10 countries. It's a symbolic show. It's not going to be a trade show. We're going to do some business. It's a symbolic show to start this. It's the first time, it's the first thing of its kind. And from here, we're going to take it on. I mean, we're going to make it, in the future, will be more as a business. It's going to start doing business in Armenia. Right now, everybody's bringing jewelry just to display. We got the confirmation from our Gargios Karagan II. He's going to open the show with our president. And also with Heranush Hagopian, the diaspora minister. She's going to be there to open the show. So it's just, this first one's going to be symbolic with the power of who we are, and it's going to build up from there on to be a real trade show to make business.
You mentioned Katolikos Karakin II. I know that you met him too. Tell us, what was your meeting all about? And what was your impression of the Catholicos?
As you asked this question, I have goosebumps. I can't explain to you. I mean, this was an unbelievable 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
And he never does that. He went and opened up. You know, they're building a new section in Echmiazin,
sure.
A huge section by Simon.
Sam Simon,
yeah,
others.
I saw that, and he opened all the safes. He showed us everything, and then he walked us down. He walked us down to the church, and everybody's looking at us, and everybody's like around us, and he gave us, at the end of the trip, he came and hugged us, gave us a kiss, and I mean, I was very touched because I didn't know how to react. Should I kiss his hand? Should I do? But he came up and he kissed me, and then we walked into the Echmiazin church. We light up candles for all Armenians and everybody else. This is a very touchy trip. I don't know if I can elaborate a little more.
Sure.
I was invited by Heranush Hagopian to attend the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
was at the opening.
Really?
It was over 30,000 Armenians, and then there was over 5,000 or 3,000 to 5,000 athletes. And once I started singing Yerevan Tartsa, I start crying like a baby, and they start giving me tissues. And it's now I know what it feels to be an Armenian. Really. You know?
It's interesting you mentioned the Pan-Armenian Games in Armenia, because the closing ceremonies are taking place just now. I just was on the phone with a friend, and they said we were watching the closing ceremonies in Armenia. So tell us more about that, the atmosphere of the games.
Oh, I mean, I can't explain. I mean, you see the power of Armenians. I mean, you see who Armenians are. Israel, Iran, I mean, all over the world, there were athletes all over. I mean, they're walking down with flags. I mean, it was so touchy. I mean, I was sitting next to the president of Karabakh with the prime minister also there. I mean, it was, I felt so bad crying. I mean, but I know I couldn't take it. I mean, it's my first trip to Armenia. Okay, so for me it was very touchy, and I can't explain. I mean, it's Armenians. I mean, the future is for Armenia. I have to tell you something. The future is for Armenia.
Berge, you are inspiring us with your words that come from the heart. Is there anything else which we did not touch on that you think you would like to mention?
I mean, I think we touched on every subject, but what I would like to have from all our fellow Armenians to really, from my first experience being in Armenia, is to visit Armenia. I mean, this has been an unbelievable trip, meeting with all the delegates and everybody else. I'm happy for my post as a vice president of the Armenian Jew Association, which I'm proud of, but at the same time, I'm proud to be an Armenian. And it's a huge, it's tough to be an Armenian, but if I'm born again, I want to be an Armenian.
Berge, Abris, thank you very much for your time.
Միջիրենք Բեյրութ, Մոսկվա, Հայաստան, Գիշերչակային ցանկապատին ասկոմեն ես կհետևեի իրենց, գախնի ոստիգանի պես։ Եվ ասեմ ցեզի շատ մեծ հաջողություններ։ Օրինակ իրենց Բեյրութ այցելության հայկական բոլոր թերթերը Բեյրութի մեջ գրեցին իրենց մասին։ Եվ առավել մենք տարիներով կմտածեինք, որ Բեյրութի մեջ մեծ թիվով հայ ոսկերիչներ կան եւ ինչու չեն միանար այս կազմակերպության։ Հավաքված են 160 հոգի 170 հայ ոսկերիչ հավաքված է իրենց այս այցելության որպես հետևանք։ Այսինքն միջև որ չերտաս, չցնցես, չխոսես, պրոպագանդ չես հաջողիր։ Այս այցելությունները, այս բաները սկանչելի են եւ անշուշտ հիմա ասպոլորին բադիվը մեզ մասամբ կերտա այս նոր վարչության նախագահային, փոխնախագահային, մյուս անդամներուն, սակայն գլխավորը բարոն Գևորգյանն է, որ իր ամբողջ անձնագազմը այս կորզին լուծել է։